Man, it looks like you caught me hanging with my behelets. A game I played recently is ITTA, or ITTA? However it's pronounced. It's a boss rush bullet hell I bought a few years ago. It's been sitting on my desktop for a while, so I thought now's as good a time as any to see what it's all about. And let me tell you, I wasn't expecting this. The game really wastes no time walking us into tragedy, as we find our family spread out dead around us. Before we can really process the situation, an orb of light appears before us, asking who summoned it. And clearly, it wasn't me. You see, this is what's wrong with today's orbs of light. Always get in the way of a man's grieving left, right, and center. This orb, who has so rudely interrupted our fridging moment, is actually a spirit. And taking the form of our poor deceased cat, it's not just any spirit, it's our astral guardian. Whatever that means. This cat follows us around for the rest of the game, and gives us our first weapon, imbuing it with spirit power, the revolver. As we explore, we'll come across a multitude of unique weapons, and in order for them to be usable in this world, they have to go through a spirit transformation, giving them a nice white skin, which is, all well and good, but I prefer black ice. Our first goal, our astral guardian dictates, is to find our mother, who, as we can see, isn't amongst the bodies, and standing around here isn't going to find her any quicker. Exiting the cave, we look around. The world around us is filled with strange structures, spirits, and bizarre oddities. It's no wonder the cat wanted us to carry a gun. I mean, look at this thing. It could have been dangerous. Lucky I'm pretty good on the quick draw. Going about, we come across an old man who doesn't want to hold us up, telling us we all know what we're here to do, but joke's on him because I'm 100% clueless. And asking him what it is we're here to do, he tells us he has no time to explain, which I guess is fine. He doesn't owe us any answers, but ITTA doesn't even ask him if he's seen their mother. Past the old-timer, the only way we can go is into some ruins, which are supposed to be a tutorial. They even put the instructions on how to dodge and how to shoot onto the walls, which is nice, but what would have been nicer is if I had noticed it while playing. I only actually looked at this back wall when going back through my recording, and it's not like they hid the instructions in the wall art, it's just extremely easy to look past. After figuring out the dodging and shooting mechanics while ignoring the instructions on the wall, we come to a large chamber, and get our first taste of this game's bosses. The first boss named, Skull Icon, or none of the bosses in this game actually have a name tag, so instead, allow me a moment to read his aura. Yes. We shall call him Stone Golem. Named for his stony appearance and golem-like personality, I'm just making things up. It's the perfect introduction to this game's combat. Its attack patterns aren't hard to learn, having only 3 moves that I was able to see, which give us a basic understanding of how bosses will be able to fight us. First, shooting out projectiles from itself, the slow-moving shots aren't much to dodge. Then moving on to slamming the ground, causes debris to come falling down on our heads, leaving these little damage flares, which I found kinda annoying to deal with. Then, moving towards the end of the fight, we see it summon these black shield things, which can fire off shots on their own, giving us something else to watch out for. With all these attacks conveyed to us, we're able to kill the stone golem on my second attempt, and we see it burst into spirit energy, causing a light to turn on within that cave that we had come from. Exiting the ruin, we continue exploring. Finding the end of a blood trail left behind by ITTA's mother, she's worse for wear but still alive. Wrapped in a black goo, it seems a creature had gotten a hold of her while trying to look for help. We try and assist by offering to rip off the goo, but it'll be to no avail, as it's gotten itself around her heart. With no way to save her, she asks us to move on and find a way home, which I really don't know how to do. Seeing as I don't want to be the one responsible for finding the way home, I tried following the goo into the ruins behind her, but you can't really do anything to save her. The spirit that has her trapped can't be damaged, and when speaking to it, it just galumphs. There's also a book here, but it really doesn't give us any information, and when we exit back out, she's just gone. So much for that. With nothing more to do, we adhere to the words of ITTA's mother, and continue on to try and find a way home. Looking around for anything that can give us information on getting home, we come across a woman busying herself with what looks like maps and other assorted documents. Speaking to her, we don't learn anything about how to return home, just that she's surprised that we're a child. And in order to keep us from getting any more lost than we already are, she provides us with a map of our own. While rather basic, the world itself isn't that large, so it gives us exactly enough information to keep us from getting lost. Grayed out areas are ones we haven't been to, and the one blinking white, that's the area that we're currently in. And any red skulls you see are bosses that we've found, but yet to kill. Basic, but to the point. It's perfect for our travels. Also in this area, we find a new weapon. I'm not sure what it is from the visual alone, and to make things worse, rather than the cat making it usable, it tells us we have to find a smithy to turn it into a spirit weapon, which I find odd, as it gave us our first weapon, so why can't it give us our second? Some Astral Guardian you are. Am I right, or am I right? Okay, tough crowd tonight. Continuing on, we find the old man again. Seems the reason he couldn't explain anything to us earlier was so that he could go and stand in front of this door. He asks for our help. Being the last of the forest architects, he wants to destroy the statue inside, which is a reflection of their ego, he calls it. And hey, if he really is an architect for this place, he might have some information that can help us get home, so might as well help where we can. Entering the room, this four-faced statue is a reflection of ego he was referring to. Controlled by a spirit, much like the previous boss, it begins the fight by firing off shots which break into shrapnel against the arena walls. Then, raising itself up, it slams back down to the ground, causing more debris to go flying. And to make things worse, this thing starts spinning. And my god, the cacophony of noise when it gets stuck on something? Horrendous. And the final attack this thing had in store is this weird hand coming down from the ceiling, which I'm not sure was working properly, as it didn't hurt me a single time as it swept across the arena. And in time, this eagle was humbled, causing the spirit to again burst out and ignite another light in that cave. Leaving, we speak to the old man again. Seemingly surprised we survived, he even says it. He finally has the time to give us some answers. The cave we began the game in is called the Void Gate. And while he doesn't know much about it, he is able to tell us it's a doorway to other planes of existence, that when traveled through, has a pretty high mortality rate, as I has experienced. We then ask if it can be used to go back the other way. While his answer leads towards yes, he isn't sure if anyone's actually tried. The eyes in the cave are supposed to be lit in order for it to work, and as we've seen so far, with each boss killed, another eye is imbued with enough spirit to light them, so if we want to go home, we have to keep killing bosses. From here, the rest of the game is me hopping from one boss to the next, so let's switch gears. Rather than recapping every single fight, let's instead talk about what else the game has to offer. The world we've seen so far has been odd but interesting, and to add to that, the game was almost entirely open from the get-go. Walking around and just taking in the scenery had me thinking about an hour into the game before fighting anything other than the tutorial boss. Well, I think it should have corralled me in better so that we would have gotten our main goal of finding a way home before letting me loose. The game has done a great job at making a world you want to explore. It's done this by not only making a visually appealing landscape, but by scattering throughout the map NPCs to talk to, lore books to read, these cat totems which change the shape of our Astral Guardian, and we can even find a few puzzles and challenges which get us into two other regions, the Glass Garden and the York Ruins, giving us even more to see and interact with. We can also find hidden about upgrades which will make our boss slaying even easier. This includes health upgrades, new weapons which there's a decent variety of, such as a sword, bombs, even a flamethrower, but by far my favorite weapon out of all of them was the machine gun. This thing is much better than anything else we come across, so I end up using it for the whole game. And for the final upgrade of sorts, we can find what I guess we can say is a darker side of ourselves. Ooh, ah. This pus of man-looking thing introduces us to a new mechanic called the Spirit Overload after finding one of these shrines. A rather useful tool in battle, it can take some of the edge off while fighting a difficult boss. It comes into play once you've narrowly avoided a number of attacks. Filling a meter now appearing right below our health bar, once that meter is full, we'll become invincible and get a boost to our damage. Later on, in addition to what this ability already gives us, we even get upgrades for it, such as the Spirit Blast, which looks like a Kamehameha. I've never watched Dragon Ball. Sending out a powerful beam wherever we're aiming, And we can also get the homing spirits, which, as its name suggests, sends out homing shots to whatever we're fighting. Alright, boss time. Every fight in this game, no matter what region we were in, felt entirely unique. May it be the visual design of the boss or how it was fighting us, I never felt like they just copy and paste their previous one into a new area with a different skin on it. And even when I did notice a familiar attack, it was always accompanied by 4 new ones to keep the fight feeling fun. In total, there are 18 bosses throughout the game, and as we fight our way through in an effort to get home, we can unlock the big bosses of the 3 regions, each locked behind one of these doors. They require 3 others to be defeated within their region in order to get to them. And these fights are the most memorable to me, as they felt more challenging than any of the other bosses we had faced. Except for this one. I just walked around in a circle while this wolfman thing kept trying to get me. Yeah, try and bite me, I dare ya. The swordsman in the forest was interesting. With his teleporting and shadow sword, there was a lot to pay attention to. But by far, the fight I had the most attempts on, and my favorite of the region bosses, was in the glass garden. No, not her. That one's my favorite. Coming in to support this girl, we got ya boy, Giant Head and Wall. This fight, although difficult, is my favorite just because of the giant head. I remember first walking in and wondering why there was only half an arena to use, but in time, my question was answered, as this guy just comes bursting in out of nowhere. And even after the fight, if you walk outside, you can see his rest of the body there. He wasn't there before, so I really wonder where he came from. Finishing up the region bosses unlocks the final boss, Mono, the last obstacle in our path home. And I think Mono is supposed to be like some all-powerful god of this land, but I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention like usual. It's all in the lore books I found, but I wasn't listening to them. La la la, I'm not reading you, I'm not reading you. So, being ignorant to the lore, I'll be going off the assumption that they're bad, and since they locked up my man's gold head, don't show him, he's too good, I can't have him in the video. And more importantly, they're the only thing keeping us from going home, so let's pay him a visit. Making my way over to fight, we're greeted by a masked individual. Not in the mood for conversation, we just stare at them. And I'ma be real, I wouldn't want to talk to them either. They look scary. Take that mask off, big dog. Ain't nothing wrong with it, just gotta take off that mask, big dog. Let those pores breathe a little. They tell us it's okay. Knowing the toll we've taken by killing all those spirits, it may not be accurate to call us ITTA anymore, which I don't really understand, though I'm not completely sure how much we've really changed over the course of this 3-hour game. But regardless, they tell us they had felt our presence even before we arrived, which is, creepy. Seething beneath the surface of the garden? Are you getting all galumphing on me now? You know what? I'm done talking here. I got a boss to kill, and then I'm home free. As we leave the robed fellow, they phase out of existence, and as we move into the next room, we begin falling. Though unlike at the beginning of the game, where we woke up from a dream, here, we're going till we reach the bottom. The arena is a pitch black, and while we can see the health bar at the bottom, I don't see the boss anywhere. I don't think the fight is, Appearing from the darkness, Mono shows themselves, and while I'd love to tell ya that the last fight in the game is the most difficult, it was pretty easy. All we had to do really was just strafe left and right, and the machine gun really just did its job. And in no time, Mono went down. To end things off, I'm going to give my opinion on ITTA. And for such a short game, I'll start it off by saying I had a lot of fun. It's been a while since I played something like this, and for what fun I had in the beginning, as I explored and found more upgrades, the game kind of shifted. The fun I had when almost every fight left me on 1 heart, and it was down to the wire as I'd fired off shots, hoping for them to hit, as I kept dodging through barrages of attacks, definitely wasn't there when I could just rely on my 10 hearts or spirit overload to just tank me through everything. Another letdown in this game was the weapons. Well, there's a great variety, and I did like how they were presented on this weapon wheel. From swords to bombs to guns, only the machine gun felt worth using. Everything else just paired in comparison to it by either being too slow, weak, or unreliable. And with all the negativity that I've been saying at this end, did I actually enjoy the game? And yeah, I did. For the majority of the game, I only had 4 hearts, which kept the bosses fun and difficult, But as I found more upgrades, that's when it really just became a blur of beating one boss after the next. And, maybe this game just isn't for me. Maybe it's more so for someone who likes boss rushes without, you know, looking around, finding things to use in them. Maybe it's meant to be something where just the more you find, the easier it becomes. So, if you liked what you saw, check it out. And thanks for sticking around and watching my video. And let me know if I should have done something differently. Bye bye.